And we start with some developing news from Chautauqua County tonight. Acclaimed author Salman Rushdie was attacked while making an appearance at the Chautauqua Institution this morning. Good evening, I'm Mary Alice Demler.
And I'm Michael Wooten. This happened a little before 11 o'clock. Rushdie was about to give a lecture at the institution as part of its summer program when a man rushed the stage and stabbed the author and also injured the person who was interviewing him. A suspect was quickly taken into custody.
We have team coverage tonight. Our Dave McKinley is at the Chautauqua Institution. And we begin with Two on Your Side's Rob Hackford, who was at the New York State Police Barracks in Jamestown, where just a short time ago they provided an update. Rob?
Michael and Mariella State Police have identified the suspect that attacked Mr. Rushdie allegedly today at the Chautauqua Institution as Hadi Matar of Fairview, New Jersey. He traveled to the area. The institution said the 24-year-old had a pass to access the grounds. And just before the famed author was set to speak in the main amphitheater, rushed the stage and allegedly stabbed Mr. Rushdie in the neck and abdomen. This happened around 11 a.m. Now, another individual, Mr. Henry Reese, also was injured in this, a facial injury, but has since been released. Now, staff at the institution, audience members, took the suspect to the ground, according to state police, and Matar was taken into custody shortly after. Now, a doctor in the audience was also available to provide medical assistance to Mr. Rushdie, who was then flown via helicopter to a hospital in Erie, Pennsylvania, the closest choice with his injuries. Well, FBI are working with state police now, and they say there are a lot of people to speak to. There were many individuals in the audience, and there's a lot of video of this incident to go through as well. So as the Troop A commander repeatedly said during the press conference this afternoon, they are very early in the investigation.
We don't have any indication of a motive at this time, but we are working with the FBI, the Sheriff's Office, and we will determine what the cause of this was or what the motive for this attack was. We're not even sure what the charges are yet. We're working with the DA's office. They'll determine what the charges are once we get a little further in the investigation and determine the condition of Mr. Rushdie. I'm sure it will be at some point later today or tonight.
Now, the suspect, 24-year-old Hadi Matar, is being held at the Jamestown Barracks here, awaiting those charges to be filed. We expect, again, as you heard there from the commander, that could happen tonight or later this evening. We don't have an exact timeline on that. But for now, live in Jamestown, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
Rob, thank you. And Two on Your Side's Dave McKinley has been at the Chautauqua Institution this afternoon trying to learn more about what happened. He joins us live from the Chautauqua Institution. Dave, this had to be very upsetting for people who saw what happened. What are folks there saying?
Even hours after all of this occurred, I could tell you that those who witnessed it were still visibly shaken by what they'd seen and what they will probably never forget.
It was surreal. I couldn't believe it was happening.
The reaction of those who came to hear Rushdie speak but ended up bearing witness to his apparent attempted murder. They say Rushdie had been no sooner introduced when an assailant jumped on stage and attacked him, apparently with a knife, stabbing him several times in the neck.
And then the amphitheater goes nuts. People are screaming. We can see him like stabbing. Now, we understand he's been stabbed now. We're punching. We couldn't tell if he had a knife at the time.
There are people in the front who got up on the stage and grabbed the man and pulled him off of Rushdie. And that took a little bit of doing. It took about 8 to 10 people to do that. And then they basically immobilized him, sat on him on the stage.
Rushdie was taken by helicopter to a hospital in Erie. Since the publication of his book, The Satanic Verses, more than 30 years ago, Rushdie has been the subject of an assassination order by, among others, the Iranian government, with a $3 million bounty on his head, and prior to today had survived 6 previous attempts on his life.
I am still just stunned beyond belief. It's hard to believe it happened.
Because of Rushdie's background and those prior threats, many of those we spoke with felt that security would have been tighter than normal here at Chautauqua, but from what they tell us and what they said, it did not appear to them that security was tight at all. And we also asked these witnesses if the assailant yelled or said anything, either prior to the attack or afterward, and those we spoke with said no, they don't recall hearing anything like that. Reporting live outside the Chautauqua Institute, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
All right, Dave, we appreciate it. This is obviously a developing story. We'll have much more throughout the night, especially if there are charges announced and an arraignment. So stay with WGRZ.com and our social media pages for the latest.